After this episode, your head's going to hurt and you're going to have that deer in the headlights look. Retiring while your wife works from home. It's like being a kid again, and mom is everywhere, watching, giving you that look that screams, keep doing that, mister, and you're going to piss me off anymore. And after this episode, I really wish I was fully retired because I'd really want some edibles after this one. Welcome to Dying to Retire. I'm Doug, and this channel is about my journey into retirement and beyond. And today we're going to dive into the new retirement normal for us men. Even when we retire, there's a good chance our wives will still be working. And thanks to COVID, more often than not, our loving, caring, and dearest wives will be working in the room next door, watching, judging, doing what wives do. We'll cover this new retirement landscape and how we men are standard bearers for this new normal that's about to happen to us. Someone just shoot me now, because one thing I'm going to say, I'm going off my regular script here. We're going to notice in the next 5-10 years, there's going to be a bump, in my personal opinion, in divorces. Because what's going to happen is we're going to really see how our wives are, how they really treat people at her workplace versus how they treat you. Are they the boss bitch babe, or are they a kind, caring, understanding individual? This is going to open up our eyes a lot more, and we're going to see the differences in how they treat their coworkers and bosses, and then how they treat us. And is this going to be the new normal? So again, look at trends, and I wonder if there's going to be a bump in divorces in the next couple of years, and I wonder what the reason why is going to be. I digress, but let's get back on script. So what does this new retirement landscape look like? It's going to have blurred boundaries between work and home life. Imagine you're at home editing your latest podcast, and your wife pops in and goes, honey, can you run this errand, or can you vacuum, dust, do whatever? Is this interrupting your work, or is this fair game because you're retired? It's a question you got to ask. The lines between personal pursuits and productive activities become fuzzy here. Is your podcasting a hobby, or is it leisure or a new path? And what I meant to say is your podcasting hobby, is it leisure or a new path? And I'm using podcasts. You may be doing something else. You may have volunteer work for the church or a men's group. It doesn't really matter. You have the same scenario. My key point here is that your retirement doesn't mean that you suddenly became the house handyman or the full-time errand boy, the bitch boy, the gopher for her to, hey, task and do that, to delegate. No, your time is still valuable, purposeful. Even if it's not tied to a traditional job, you did not suddenly stop being the man of the house. Now, there's gender differences in retirement activities, and there's different perceptions of what's productive and what's a leisure activity. You may see your podcasting as a productive endeavor, creating content, engaging with new people, developing new skills. In contrast, your wife may perceive it as a hobby. It's akin to playing a video game, binge watching a TV show, things that she views as time wasters. It's a difference in perception. The old men are from Mars and women for Venus, if you're old enough to remember that stuff, can lead to what professionals call misunderstandings. Well, we men call these things arguments and instances of what we call shit test. She might feel that your time spent on podcasting could be redirected towards household responsibilities or being the new home errand boy. You're like the company errand boy, but now she directs you at home. It's going to create tensions in your relationship. Now, again, the so-called professionals will tell you that the key points here is how important it is to communicate the goals and benefits of your podcasting or whatever your hobby is. Bullshit. We men know in reality she most likely won't care and will not see that. Ergo, from the perspective of men, the actual key points here is establishing boundaries from the get-go. Don't wait until the last minute when the argument has already begun. Establish boundaries. And that's the perfect segue to here, because the surefire strategy for harmonious mixed retirement living is setting the clear boundaries from day one, as I mentioned. Don't wait for the argument to start to establish, hey, these are my new work hours. Be proactive. This is something that you need to be better at. And you say, hey, honey, be proactive. And this is something I need to be better at. It is, honey, wifey, dearest, from 9 in the morning to noon, I'm in the podcast bunker. Please don't disturb me. After that, I'm all yours. I'm all yours. Again, I'm using a podcast. Your hobby is going to be different, or volunteer work will be different. If possible, it's not something my wife would look at. You may want to be different and create a visible schedule for when your hours are. And it's not just for her benefit, it also helps you stick to what your hobby or podcasting will be. When you're done, offer to help with outside tasks after your so called work hours. But remember, you are a retired individual. You are not the hired help. You're not the T boy. Your space is your space. Your time is your time. After work hours and the weekends is for you two to do shared activities. All right, guys, I've said enough for today, so let's wrap this up. Set those boundaries early. Communicate clearly, even if she doesn't always get it nor want to hear it, and stick to your guns. It's about enjoying your time while maintaining your identity and purpose. Your man card has not been revoked. No one can revoke it but you. And remember, retirement is not becoming a full-time handyman or errand boy, aka bitch boy. And have you recently retired or getting ready to? And are you experiencing this new retirement landscape normal? Please share your thoughts and experiences in the comment below. Don't forget to like or subscribe and turn on notifications for more on my journey into retirement and beyond. I'm Doug. This is Dying to Retire. I look forward to seeing you guys in the next episode.